In this course lecture, we are going to understand what are vector databases. A vector database is a special type of database that stores and manages vector embeddings. Now, what is vector embedding? A vector embedding is simply a numerical representation of unstructured data like text, images, and audio. Instead of storing just text, we convert that text into numbers. Now, these numbers helps us to understand some fruitful meaning. Now let me ask you something. When you type in ChatGPT, how do I install Laravel? Do you think it understands English like a human? No, that's not how it works. First, ChatGPT converts your question into a vector embedding. That means your text becomes a long list of numbers, something like this. This list of numbers represent the meaning of your sentences. These numbers are then compared with millions of other embeddings that are already stored. The system mathematically calculates the similarity, and based on that similarity, it gives you the most relevant answer. So ChatGPT works using mathematics, not human language understanding. Let's try to connect this with our application. Suppose in our application we have two blog posts. Blog 1 is today's an awesome day and the blog 2 may be current affair. Now we generate embeddings for both blog using the OpenAI API. So both blogs are now converted into vector looking kind of a numbers, and we store those embeddings inside a vector database. Now suppose a user types, how was your day today? This question will be converted into a vector embedding first of all. Now what happens? The vector database compare this new embedding with the stored embedding into the database. Even though the sentences are completely different, today is an awesome day and how was your day today, they are semantically similar. So their vector will be close to each other in mathematical space. Because of that similarity, the system will retrieve today is an awesome day. And this is how semantic search works. Now you may ask, why can't we store these embeddings in MySQL? So I would say MySQL is very good for sorting, column-based structure of storing the data, filtering, exact matching, but it is not designed for high-dimensional similarity search. Vector embeddings contain thousands of numbers. Comparing those efficiently requires a specialized system, and that's why in our course we are using quadrant vector database that allow us to store embeddings, create collections, perform fast similarity search. So let's take a look on the different sources, what they say about the vector database. First, we have the Pinecone. Pinecone is also a most popular vector database provider. So according to their diagram, they are saying here we have an application and we have the content. First, we have to generate vector embedding with some generative model, then we can store those embedding into our vector database. Now our application can now communicate with that vector database in order to get the semantic search. You can always read about more stuff by coming onto the website. Now another vector database service provider is Quadrant, and in this course we are also going to use Quadrant. So down on this page we have a high level structure of vector database. If you take a look on that, we have a client which can interact with Quadrant, and Quadrant store collections. Inside the collection we have pointer which represents our blog, and each pointer have some payload which represent the attribute of the blog like id, name of the blog, content of the blog. And this is the representation of how Quadrant database store the thing inside it. Now our application can communicate to Quadrant in order to get semantic search results. So now your concept should be very clear. Vector embeddings are just numbers. Vector databases store those numbers. They help us search based on meaning, not exact words. And that is why vector databases are extremely important for generative AI, RAG systems, LLM based application. Now you clearly understand why we are using Quadrant in our Laravel application. So from the next section, we are going to deep dive into backend development and start building everything step by step. So stay tuned. Meet you in the next lecture.